What we into this week?
I'm almost positive. I honestly, I don't know anything. I haven't seen shit about it. I haven't seen a trailer. All I've seen is the poster of Brad's face in a spacesuit, and it just looks a lot like Sandy Bullock's face in the goddamn spacesuit. So
that's a testament to his good looks. He's a good-looking man. I'll watch him in anything. You're just still burnt from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No, it's not even that.
I'm
actually more burned about the movie I saw him in this week, called War Machine.
Ooh, well, hold on to that, because let's talk.
Yeah, so...
What did we decide to watch this week together, collectively?
Well, at first you were like, hey, you picked this week, and I hadn't...
Then I was like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I hadn't got back to you in, like, I guess it was 24 hours, and you were like, we're doing Yakuza! And I was like, okay, well, I was thinking maybe we do Hustlers. We're doing Yakuza! I was like, all right, cool. So I tried to find a version of Yakuza, but my usual channels did not spring forth a good version. So I was like, nah, you know what? Instead of Yakuza, why don't we do Ninja Scroll? We haven't done anime in a while. I'm on an anime kick these recent couple of days. So we're going to do Ninja Scroll.
1995.
Technically, it came out in 93 in Japan.
Oh, did it?
Well, let me push my glasses up.
Look at this
Let me read this. It came out in 1993 in Japan. And
it was not a huge hit in Japan.
Yeah, which is odd. You know why I think that is?
Why?
Because it's super Japanese.
Yeah.
I think that's why it was a hit here.
Okay.
Because I'm almost positive that it's like...
I see your point.
I think I'm almost positive that it's like historical fiction, too.
Uh-huh.
Because like the Tokugawa was a shogunate that existed. So was like the different shogunates that sort of are vying for power in the actual story. I'm pretty sure existed for real.
Yeah.
And there's at one point like one of the characters is like a retainer for another shogun. Who's like, we're gonna use this thing to get thing from Spain, and like they actually use Spain as a place. So it makes it seem like the events of this fictional story where monsters kind of exist kind of happened in our real world,
right? And
I think because it was they're talking about ninjas, we're talking about Japan.
You had me at ninjas. You had me at ninjas.
It's one of the, and actually it was one of the, I think it was one of the first, I want to say R-rated anime that I'd ever experienced.
Yeah.
It was the anime for me that made me realize, holy shit, what you can do with cartoons.
Right. So you must have been around 14. I was probably around 15.
Yeah.
It had a theatrical release in the United States.
I didn't see it. I got
Neither
it.
did I.
Yeah, I got it on like VHS.
VHS. So you were probably more like 15. I was probably more like 16.
I was actually doing the math. I think I saw it when I was 15 years old.
Yeah. It's available on Hulu right now. So if you've not seen Ninja Scroll, Scroll, if you don't know how to spell scroll, you should watch it. It's actually, it holds up much better than I thought. It holds up much better than Alita does.
It by a lot. Well, because Alita was just a series of OVAs.
Right.
That kind of got two OVAs that got kind of pieced together.
Right.
Whereas Ninja Scroll, they actually made it to be a full length kind of feature. I'm just surprised that it did. I'm really surprised it didn't do well in Japan.
But I think it's exactly what you said. It's very Japanese in a way that I think Japanese people were like,
it was like a Western, like it would be our version of going to see like an animated Western.
Yes, which might even be an animated Western all about, America.
Cowboys, Americana with buffalo and Indians or whatever. Yeah.
Not even very historically accurate. Yes, it's based on those history things that you were talking about,
right? But
not really historically accurate in other ways. So then it's about like, I don't know. Yeah.
I could definitely see them being like, nah, I'm gonna go watch Pachinko or some shit. I don't know.
Now, do you remember watching it when you were younger and how you felt about it?
Yeah, I remember getting hard like almost instantly,
like a boner.
Yeah,
because
it was graphic and violent and sexual and like in that first third of the movie, there's that rape that happens, or not rape, but like sexual assault that happens. And I was like, whoa,
Kagura.
This character's boobs are out.
Yeah, she gets sexually assaulted twice.
Yeah, and then
why does that dude finger her later?
Yeah, well, I think the finger, he uses his own saliva to control her.
Oh, right.
Because remember, when he shows up, she starts trying to cut at him or whatever.
There you go. Thank you. I caught a lot this watch. I hadn't seen it in about 10 years.
Me too.
But the first couple times, like when I watched it when I was a kid, was not paying attention to the plot.
It wasn't 10 years. It's been probably far less time. Probably 3 or 4 years. I saw it recently because I love this style of anime.
Yeah.
Like it had that. It reminded me kind of that Aeon Flux kind of art style.
Yeah.
I don't know who drew it, but I love the way it was styled. There's a couple scenes where they do these things with color that are amazing. Like that scene that we're talking about where he goes to rescue Kagura, and it's all red, and it's red and black, and it's just the shadows from like the sun setting or whatever, and they have the whole scene in red and black.
Yeah.
Like just...
Well, it had a cinematographer, Hitoshi Yamaguchi.
Shit. Like animes have cinematographers?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I think they really approached this movie as it making like let's make a movie. Let's not make an anime.
Let's make a movie.
Let's make a movie.
And
let's not make a serialized anime. This is a movie. It's 94 minutes long.
Yeah.
Directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, and he's also the guy who wrote it.
No shit.
Yeah.
The guy who wrote this actually directed it as well.
Yes. He also wrote Wicked City.
Well, then that's why I fucks with this.
Yeah. Wicked City and Demon City. I don't know if you wrote Wicked City, but he definitely directed it, and he wrote Demon City.
And that's why these art styles are so reminiscent of each other.
Yeah, and we talked about both. We talked about Wicked City.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see what else he did. He did the Animatrix, two segments in that.
Which segments?
He did the one Program. Remember where she's like trapped in that thing and he's trying to like convert her to the dark side essentially, right? And they also did the other one, which I think is by the cartoonist of Aeon Flux, but he did the World Record.
That's my fucking favorite.
So you're right that these two styles kind of lend themselves to each other, and then these guys have worked together
a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah, I've always had an affinity for this kind of art style and this art direction. And going back, and I think you're right. Going back and watching it this last time, I really was kind of clued into the through line.
Mm-hmm. Like I focused because I couldn't. When I sat down, I'm going to rewatch this. I've probably seen it 10 times. But when I sat down, I was like, I know this is about like Shogunate era Japan. I know there's swords, I know there's ninjas, but what is this actually about? And so I followed the story more closely this time, and it's kind of very interesting.
It's basically a political intrigue piece.
Yes,
it's basically the old government is trying to
Edo period Japan is what I meant to say, not Shogunate.
Well, yeah. But the Edo period of Japan is when shogunates were at their height. It was sort of the last kind of dish before the West kind of was introduced into that, and sort of samurais and ninjas and that way of life was kind of going the way of the dodo.
What's your destination, stranger?
No place in particular.
I'm looking for someone, and you look exactly like him.
I'm a vagabond named Jubei Kibagami.
Die!
Know that they won't leave you alone. You have already killed one of the 8 devils of Timon.
Who are these 8 devils of Timon?
They are a group of ninja who work for the Shogun of the Dark. Timon monsters will be after the both of you. 3 of us have a common enemy.
Tell me, why did you join him, Jubei?
He hired me.
A ninja for hire?
Oh, so basically, it's like a political intrigue piece where the old shogunate is trying to get back into power because the new shogunate has made them suffer for whatever, and so it's basically about gold. It's a gold heist.
Yeah, it's a gold heist.
And at the top of the movie, this ship that is carrying this gold from this mine, this secret mine. That used to be under the control of the old shogunate's retainers, crashes in this village, and they send this group of ninjas basically to get the gold back. And in order to do that, they make the villagers of the village that the boat ran aground believe that there's a plague, so that everybody will run off and that they could have sort of access to the area.
Right. They poison the well.
They poison the well and like a horse, and so they're like. And one of the ninjas has the ability to control people.
Right.
And so he basically controls the body of like a plague victim and has her spread the word that there's this plague going on. And that in turn leads the chamberlain of that region to sort of send out ninjas to find out what has happened in that village.
It's the Mokizuki.
The Mokizuki clan.
Koga, yeah. The ninjas, yeah.
Koga ninjas go out to find out what's going down in this village, and they all get decimated.
Yeah,
the only one who survives is Kagura,
Yeah.
who is the only female ninja, and kind of the only female in. Well, no, there's like she's one of two. She's one of two females in this entire world.
Yeah, it seems like. And then and what's most interesting about her is that she's the poison taster, and she has basically poison in her body, on her body. If she kisses someone, they die.
Yeah,
if they touch her for too long, they die. If you sleep with her, you definitely die.
Right. Yeah.
But then let's get to her vagabond.
So the vagabond is basically like he's a wandering mercenary ninja.
Kibagami Jubei.
Jubei.
I always thought Jubei was his first name, but watching it this time, I realized that's actually his last name. Yeah.
No. Well, that's that in Japanese. That's kind of how they do it. Like Naruto is his last name.
Right. Okay.
Uzumaki is his first name.
Got it. Touching the mic.
Sorry, it's just
it's popping out at you.
I slapped
okay.
it, and then
you can get closer to that. You know. Yeah, so really it's about the Yamashita clan versus the Tokugawa shogunate at the time.
I was actually wrong about that. Uzumaki is his last name and Naruto is his first name.
Whatever. No one cares.
But they switch it around.
Yeah.
It's the surname goes first and then the...
So it sounds... If you haven't seen the movie, this sounds really complicated, but essentially it's a plot just kind of designed to have massive ninja fights.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like
Jubei Kibagami's the vagabond mercenary for hire.
Well, he basically he's minding his own business
always,
like going about his life, and he gets roped into there's a ninja who's a spy who's been sent to kind of figure out what's been going.
The old man.
Yeah, the old man.
Dakwan.
Dakwan, who is he's a spy from the government, the Tokugawa government, the government that's in power now, has sent him in to actually figure out and quell this. He's basically like the James Bond. He'd be like if Japan had like a James Bond and he was a shitty dude.
And he was really old.
But
his character's really endearing, I think.
He's the best part of the movie. He brings those two people together. His explanation at the end is kind of brilliant because he sets all of this into motion. Mm-hmm. He poisons Jubei to get him to work for him, and then he contracts the Koga and Kagura to work for him as well. Poison girl. So here's the kicker. He poisons Jubei with telling him that he'll give him the antidote if he helps him, figure out this mystery and get to the bottom of this problem.
He blackmails him.
Yeah. And then he finds out later through Kagura that the antidote to the poison is making love to Kagura.
Yeah. Which Jubei doesn't do.
She offers herself to him, and like a true G, he's like, baby girl.
You've been assaulted twice in this movie.
I can't even do it.
Can't even do it.
And he leaves. Cut to... No, I'm not going to cut to, because you should go and watch this. It's brilliant. If not, a little hard to watch, especially now, like, with everything that's going on in our world, like the sexual assault thing. Like, I thought for a second that it was going to bother me a lot more.
Yeah.
It actually endeared this film to me a lot more.
Yeah.
Especially based on the actions of Jubei throughout.
Because he's the morally good guy.
Yeah, he's the moral center of this entire film because he basically just goes about minding his own business and then ends up having... And what's great about it is he's minding his own business, but the actual heart of this plot involves him the most. Of all the characters that they introduce you to, he's the one who's most responsible for it because the big bad and him have a relationship that, from his past, he just didn't know about it.
That's Himuro Genma,
who is one of the dopest. He's one of the dopest big bads for an anime I've seen in a long time. Basically, an immortal monster.
Yeah, he can reincarnate. So at one point, Jubei chops off his head and thinks he's dead throughout the whole movie. But apparently this guy can just stick his head right back on.
Well, that was the part I wasn't going to tell people in case they wanted to go and watch it.
You watch this movie for the spectacle, trust me. It's not so much about the plot is like a nice cherry on top.
Yeah, but
because it really is sparse and just kind of perfectly done. Yeah. But it's an action movie at its core.
Yeah.
It's like describing the plot to a Fast and Furious movie. You're not really watching it for the plot.
Please leave this Jubei to me. I will kill him myself.
He'll have to give up soon.
Must not be underestimated.
Kill him! I never expected to see you again.
Jubei, give This is a fight for power between the Tokugawa government and the Shogun of the Dark.
I have them!
Look out!
What are you planning to do?
Why was I brought here?
If you kill me now, you will surely die as well.
You are difficult to kill, Ninja.
If you want to kill me, you mustn't make any sound at all.
They're planning something. Gold is that cargo. If that gold reaches the hands of the Shogun of the Dark, the country will plunge into another civil war. So we must stop it.
I'll use the gold to organize the most powerful army of ninja ever. And we will rule the country with terror and power from the shadows.
So the 8 Devils of Kimon.
The 8 Devils of Kimon, yeah.
Kimon. And they're led by the Shogunate of the Dark, who we never see.
Yeah. Which I thought when they were going to make a second version of this movie, that they were going to tell that story, the Shogun of the Dark. Because Genma's character, the big bad from this one, his whole goal was to overthrow the Shogun of the Dark and replace him with himself.
Yeah.
Which would have been an amazing thing to happen, except...
It's another thing I didn't catch until this watch through. That's what the end of the movie is, and that's what he's saying. Because I think I always just took the Shogun of the Dark and put it in a Genma and made them like one character. Yeah.
Well, you're...
And it's kind of true.
You weren't wrong. No. You were just kind of a few steps ahead of the game.
Just being lazy about my thinking. Yeah. Another thing I caught, which was really interesting, the very first scene that we see of Jubei in this movie, he's walking down
a bridge, and he's basically assassinated, or he's attempted to be assassinated.
Right. And what they say is,
did you really?
What?
No, go ahead. I was going to
say, were you really hired for 20 Ryo? To steal back this
sword that we could have gotten 300 gold pieces for?
Yeah.
And he was like, basically, they're a small clan, and for you to try to extort 300 gold pieces from them is fuckery. So, of course, I did it for 20.
Yeah. And so my question is, though, is that the sword that he has throughout the whole movie?
No.
The
sword that they're talking about, it was a ceremonial sword that was presented to this small clan by the previous... or some kind of shogunate. They're not attacking him to get his sword. They're attacking him to get, I guess, the money that he got for the sword.
Okay. I just never really thought about that little plot point. I have another thing. What was it? So, did you watch this in subs or dubs?
No, I watched it in subs.
Yeah, because I'd only ever seen it in subbed. I've only ever seen it in dubbed.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw it both ways.
Yeah, the dub vocals hold up.
Yeah,
the dub is really good.
It really is a good version of dub.
This is the first time I saw it in sub. Was this watch through, and I was like, this is a lot like the dub. Yeah, because I think for a long time you could only get the dub in America and the Western side of things. Yeah, it was only until the Blu-ray release, I think in 2012, when you could get a sub version.
I don't know about that, man. I feel like the first time I'm trying to remember the first time I saw it and whether it was dub or sub, and I think it was.
I can almost guarantee it was dub. Yeah.
You're right, because I remember the character voice for the old man.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that actor for
I also kind of noticed this Thanos in-game influence into Psy.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Before we go any further? They're 8 Devils of Kimon, right?
Yes.
Rock Guy.
That's Tasai.
He's
got that, and the reason I say
Snake Girl,
Binasari.
8, right? Rock Guy, Snake Girl.
Those are the only names I know.
Explodey Chick.
That is
Blind Guy.
Yep, Blind Guy.
Electrocution String. Shadow Ninja.
Yep.
Who are the other two?
Bee-Man. Remember, he's got the bees on his back.
Oh, right, Bee Guy and
Genma. He's the eighth. He's the leader of the eighth.
Okay. Yeah.
Reincarnation guy.
Copy that.
So no, the rock guy who's got the sword that he can like twirl around and then throw.
It's basically like a giant boomerang.
Yeah.
I don't know how he controls it to get it back to him, but he's probably the dopest introduction to an anime character I've ever seen.
Yes. His introduction really sets the tone for the entire movie.
Yes, it does.
Because there's this sense that no matter what anybody does, they're dead.
Yeah.
And he will kill you, and he'll find you. He'll throw his boomerang.
Well, that scene where he's presented and he chases her and he throws his thing to chop the branch and she falls and he shows up and her homeboy comes in to save her and he's like, get out of here, and he rips his arms off.
Yep.
And then they just show him drinking the blood out of his ripped off arms while her face is registering this dude's fucking insane.
Yep.
That's that scene is so good.
They set up such a good antagonist. By the time Jubei is there, and she's about to be, she doesn't get raped. She gets assaulted.
She gets assaulted.
Well, depending on your definition of rape. Yeah.
He doesn't penetrate her with his penis.
Yes.
But
because Jubei's there essentially and stops them.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't realize is he's being poisoned at the time.
Right.
So because he has the ability to kind of create this rock armor.
Yeah.
And
his whole body becomes like living boulder.
Yeah.
And he basically turns into the Thing.
Yeah.
Like it's basically the Marvel equivalent of the Thing. And then and he assaults her, doesn't know that she is who her body is, what her body is, and then when he shows up to fight Jubei by himself is one of the best scenes in the entire movie. Because Jubei, like you said, just walk along, minding his business, and then a fist comes through the wall and pulls his whole face into it, and then gets blasted backwards.
Yeah,
it's insane.
And what does he say? He says he has like a... Jubei's like, I just wanted to go somewhere. He's like, oh, you got it wrong. The road to hell is this way.
Right.
So good.
It's a good line. It's a really good line.
So this was Manga Entertainment's best-selling anime of all time.
No shit.
And, that company.
Yeah, Manga Entertainment, yeah. Best-selling anime of all time?
Of all time, yeah.
Right. Well, then explain to me why they never made a second version. Because I saw a teaser trailer for a Ninja Scroll 2, and they did make a series out of it. I don't know how many, I think at least one season of a series.
In 2008, they were supposed to do a live action adaptation, but they were also supposed to make an animation sequel at the same time as well.
And they were talking about making a live action version of this movie?
Yep.
I think that's the movie that I was thinking about the other day. I was like, if they were going to make a live action version or not a live action version, but a remake of something, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't remember, because it was not. It would have to not only be a remake, but it'd have to be a live action version of it.
And
this
also,
would be one.
And also produced by Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way Productions.
Excuse me?
Well, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's the guy who kind of like really put the heat on the Akira live adaptation, and this is another movie that he was pushing hard to get adapted. Leo, apparently.
Is Leo an anime head?
It sounds like it. This is me just learning about it. That could be totally wrong. I mean, this is the Wikipedia. You can look it up yourself and decipher whatever you want. Then they got the screenwriter of the guy who wrote the Wu-Tang documentary with RZA.
No shit.
Alex Tsese, or TSE is
like the Wu-Tang doctor. Like, is that
an American Saga? Well, not documentary. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
So it's like that little connection. So that guy was there, and that was all back in 2009. And it right now just like the limbo. Sequel of the animated sequel, it's in development hell. It's in limbo.
Huh.
Yeah.
But you saw the teaser for.
I didn't see the teaser for this. No.
You look. It's like a minute and 20. It looks awesome. And they also made a series that you actually saw, or at least the first episode of. And
it says that they released a teaser trailer for the 3-episode short animation titled Ninja Scroll Burst, intended to attract investors to the project. They didn't get the investors that they needed. The finances couldn't be secured, which is a bummer. It seems like kind of a no-brainer to me.
Right.
It's
definitely a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But like this was one that I was like, if they remade this live action, it would make all the money.
This is actually one that I would like to see live action, because this one I feel like they could do it.
They could do well.
Yeah, they could do really well.
I mean, they could do it practically.
Yeah.
A lot of that could be done practically.
See, I think there's also a way to do this same exact kind of story. Not necessarily all the political intrigue, but this wandering vagabond in an apocalyptic wasteland, which we've seen all that before.
Right.
You know, starring you with a ninja sword.
See, this is the thing. You were asking me characters that I identify with, and these are the exact characters that I've always identified with.
Yeah.
Like these wandering vagabonds who have this amazing skill, but they also are like morally centrist. They're very kind of like they could easily be a hero or a villain, but they tend to always ride the line of hero,
right?
Despite their circumstance, and these are the characters I've always identified with. I think this is why
they're always reluctant too, and they're the Joseph Campbell, to the degree.
Like, hey, I just want to live and let live. Leave me the fuck out of it. But I'm not just gonna let you sexually assault this woman right now in front of me, bro.
Yeah, I'll act like I'm not that interested. I'm not really gonna fight you, but I'm fully invested. I'll give my life in this moment. Right. And also, like, because I went back and I watched the first couple episodes of the Ninja Scroll TV series,
which
the first episode's good, and it'll get you excited, and you'll be like, "Oh, this is really good. I'm into this."
How many episodes?
I think it's like 23.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few of them. Yeah, okay. 20, and there's about.
You said they're all on YouTube?
I think most of them are. Yeah, you can definitely watch the first couple enough to realize it's not that good. But in the first episode, he's like, all I want to do is take a nap. And then he hears like a group of ninjas fighting, and he's forced to go and investigate. Yeah. It's similar to like in both Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo, where they're like, all we want is some food.
He reminds me of Spike.
And Mugen, from Samurai Champloo.
Yeah.
It's the same character. But that's the same character they've been repeating.
Right. The anime trope of that character.
Yes.
Yeah. And I always identify with those characters.
And it's different than somebody like Luke Skywalker, who doesn't start out as a badass. You know what I mean?
No.
This is a guy who's already sort of an unbeatable badass.
Yes.
In fact, the name of this is Jubei the Wind Ninja. Wind Ninja. That's what the Japanese translation is. We get Ninja Scroll because I guess nobody wanted Wind Ninja.
Well, what I figured out with distribution, if you're going to have something come over from another place, you have to have buzzwords that when someone wants to search it, will spring it to life. And I guess Jubei Wind Ninja isn't gonna fly off the shelf as quickly as Ninja Scroll.
And what is the scroll?
There is no scroll. There is nothing scroll-like in any portion of this movie.
But isn't there something about ninjas where they have like 10 scrolls and they have to learn? I'll look it up later.
Yeah, please.
It's something like that. There's some history about ninjas.
I don't know anything about ninjas.
Exactly. Ninjas were the enemies of the samurai.
Yeah, I know.
They fought without honor.
They fought guerrilla. They were the samurais were sort of the knights of this era, and the ninjas were sort of the
punks with the daggers.
The punks with that. Like they were basically. Like the way that America colonists won America was the way that the ninjas fought.
Yeah.
Guerrilla, from trees, underhanded. Like, up until that point, like, the way that you did war is basically you showed up in a field, I showed up in a field, we lined up, I shot at you, you shot at me, I shot at you, you shot at me, until we didn't have any. Whoever had the most people left at the end of that was the winner.
Question? This is dumb. Why do we have to do it this way?
Can I duck?
Exactly. Can I hide behind this tree? No.
They're like, no, that's not honorable. And the colonists were like, fuck this. Trees, rocks.
Fuck honor.
Fuck honor.
Boom, boom.
This is we live here now.
Who is, before we move on, who is your favorite of the 8 Devils of Kamon? Yeah.
Ooh. I think for me, it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Between my initial boy, Rock Guy, and
Tasai.
And Genma.
Genma, yeah, he's pretty dope, right?
And Genma, he gets covered in gold, molten fucking gold, and still has enough strength to jump out of a molten river of gold to grab a motherfucker.
He falls hard in this movie.
He goes
from I'm the leader of these 8 devils.
I'm immortal.
And I have all this gold.
Unkillable.
And I'm immortal, I'm unkillable, and I'm going to basically take over the country with this gold.
And run the country from the shadows.
All of a sudden, his ship is sinking. There's no way he's going to be able to get the gold off. But he's still thinking, I'm okay. I'm going to kill this guy.
Well, yeah, because the thing, you remember that there's a scene where The explosions have just gone off, and then like he has like a ninja come and report to him, and the only thing he goes, disappear.
Yes.
He's like, get off the ship, disappear. I'll find you later.
Yeah.
I'll call for you later, or something like that.
Yeah.
He is confident that he's going to get off the ship.
He'll rebuild. Yeah.
And he doesn't even. He has the opportunity to kill Jubei. He could have ended it. He's like,
yeah.
I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to make you suffer because I am so confident in my own ability to survive whatever you could throw at me.
Classic villain shit.
Classic villain shit. And then cut to, you're a molten statue on the bottom of the seafloor now, bro.
Yeah. I really like the, I think it's Mushizo, the guy who was like, no, that's the Hunchback Warrior. I liked, who is it? The guy who could hide in the shadows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shijima.
He was that was the one I was describing, the scene I was describing earlier with the red and the dark, like the contrast.
Right. He could also fuck with people's minds. Yeah.
Right.
He had that claw hook thing. The character design in this is just great. I mean, if you can set up a situation where, and this is what I got really excited about the series after the first episode. I was like, because he immediately dispatches like 3 ninjas, and then there's another group of ninjas that are trying to hunt him and hunt this light maiden and this dragonstone thing. And I thought, oh, this is great. This is just like the movie. They're just going to span it out
over the course of a series.
Yeah, in every episode he's going to fight 2 or 3 different ninjas.
Is that not what happens?
Not really. It just gets funky. Maybe I'll give it another shot because I was getting kind of tired. How many episodes did you end up seeing? I definitely watched the first 2 and then started getting drowsy by the 3rd and fell asleep by the 4th.
Okay.
But it gets weird. It gets like bad anime weird where there's like a purple villain and like, just weird shit.
I mean, some could say that, I mean, a lot of what happens in that first movie is weird anime shit.
It's just done well. Whereas this is not.
It's exceptional. Like the opening scene where he's walking across the bridge, the assassination scene we talked about.
Right.
And he's eating a rice ball.
Right.
And he throws the rice ball into the air before, like, you see just sword flashes. Mm-hmm. Does he catch the rice ball after that?
And
he catches it, right?
Yeah.
And continues walking all across the bridge, even after he's cut what looks like a puppet suit of the guy that's trying to assassinate him, and the gun.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of great little moments. There's a moment when the girl... Kagura, right? Kagura. She goes to attack Tasai, the guy with the big sword, the giant, basically. And all he does is just slightly move his hand. Ching! And she bounces off it.
Right?
So,
Right.
There's all these like wonderful little moments to show like how each character is powerful
and different. It's
really well directed.
One. I can't believe we even talked about it. One of the best fights in the anime is the blind guy.
Yeah,
because it's one of the most classic.
Yes,
like not just anime, but like Kung Fu Kick Out.
Yeah,
where like 2 characters run side by, like they're running sideways without looking at it. They're looking directly at each other by running sideways, and then they jump up and they run through a bamboo forest.
Yeah,
and they have a fight in a bamboo thicket.
Well, don't forget there was the explosion that sent Jubei and Kagero off the cliff.
Right.
And when they get to the top, they realize that
he's holding. Yeah, he's the one holding them up.
Just because he wants to fight, he wants the honor of fighting Jubei because Jubei's now he realizes is one of the best sword fighters, and just to die by this guy would be incredible.
Which is crazy because then they go into the thicket, they're having this battle, and he's like, "Your eyesight is your weakness.
Yes,
you thought to lure me in here because I'm blind."
Yeah,
and then he proceeds to. And honestly, if Kaguro didn't interfere, I feel like he would have died.
Yeah, and why does he die, in your opinion?
Who dies?
Because Kaguro, she makes an attempt to kill this guy.
Right.
And she misses, but she leaves her sword stuck into the bamboo. So when he brings his sword down to kill Jubei, it hits her sword because he didn't realize or remember that it was still there.
Well, what I was thinking is that even though he's blind, like that, like if you bounce sunlight into the orbs of the face, you will get a feeling.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like sight wise, like the heat or whatever will attract. Like it made it seem like instead of it made it seem like the overhead strike that should have been what he was going for.
Right.
Was I think that was lucky. I don't think Jubei planned that.
You just ended up below that sword, and when the guy
ended up below that sword,
him,
and the guy thought that the attack was that, and it was just
Right. Or maybe he thought it was a piece of bamboo that he could cut through and didn't remember that it was her sword.
No, I think he thought it was Jubei's sword reflecting light in that way. That's what I think.
Interesting.
But it's a very good. It's a good question because I had questions about that scene too. I was like, why does he register that blade and not Jubei, who's directly under it? And when you see that moment, you see the glare from the blade. Mm-hmm. But it's almost like it's reflected back at the character's face,
right?
As if to say, like, even though he's blind, he can sense the heat from it or the reflection from it, something like that.
It's open to interpretation, that's for sure. What else? Anything else you want to say about before we move on to other things we were into this week?
I'm trying to think about the because he fights the 8 devils, and I want to talk at least a little bit about each of the battles. The battle with the guy with the things on his back,
the bees, yeah. That was great.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, because he cuts out of the water. Using his wind attack, hits the limb. The guy falls on. He also cuts off the dude's leg.
You know what? I didn't catch that's why they called him Jubei the Wind Ninja.
Yeah.
That the speed at which he draws his sword cuts things.
Yes. There's a whole episode in Samurai Champloo, if you remember, that there's a bad guy that Mugen has to learn how to fight because this guy can use the wind to attack people. So it's sort of kind of inspired by that thing.
I think I remember. Yeah.
These were also they were also like in the 50s and 60s and 70s, tons of these little pulp novels in Japan. I forget what they're called, but they were all about ninjas and things like that, and usually involved some sort of like sexual assault or some women or things like that.
Right.
And the hero would come out and save and fight like crazy villains. And
so
it was taking that and putting into like an anime form was what made it.
There was another thing that I caught this time, the first time through, that I hadn't caught before, was that Genma's bisexual.
Yes.
I hadn't caught that before.
Yeah, that's kind of that aspect hasn't aged that well.
What do you mean?
Because they're doing a thing where they're taking kind of a bisexual character and making them the villain and so it's this protagonist against the antagonist who's
the
bisexual. Guy. Yeah. Straight versus bisexual. Deviants. Bisexual deviants or gay deviants is the idea. I see. And it's actually pretty subtle, and they don't really
it didn't seem like it was something to be admonished. It was, maybe you're right.
But knowing the history
you
of
sleep with me and he sleeps with
and they've sexually assaulted this girl twice.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're sort of showing that it's kind of this deviant thing. It's not terrible, but like there's history of like this is the gay character, let's make him bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, risky for the time. Bisexual.
93.
Yeah. Also, I mean, what is cool about it is that the guy there's one character who's bisexual who's very effeminate, but Genma, who's bisexual, is very masculine. Extremely masculine. And so the idea that this very masculine guy would be bisexual with this effeminate male.
Right.
You know.
So yeah,
it's
maybe
interesting.
I hadn't clocked that before.
Yeah.
And I've seen this, like you said, over 10 times at least. So it was like, Ninja Scroll progression.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Anything else?
It's good. You should watch it. It's on Hulu. Definitely check it out. Most anybody, if you like action movies, you'll like it.
Yeah,
it's well made. Trust us.
It's pretty eclipsed. There is no lag time in it. It goes from start to finish pretty.
It's 94 minutes. It doesn't feel too long. Doesn't feel too short.
Mm-hmm.
It feels right. It's just a nice, solidly made movie.
And I honestly, I don't know if any of our fan base listens and has access to, I don't know, fundage, but this would be a great one to get people to sort of make live action.
Yeah,
it could
for
be
sure.
Incredible live action.
If you've got millions of dollars,
if you got bread to spare, this would be one that we wouldn't mind paying to see.
You know what? I remember now watching 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And the first 15 minutes, I thought were going to be Ninja Scroll.
Right.
You know, after watching those 15 minutes in the cinema, I was super hyped and was like, oh man, this is going to be awesome. This is mystical and strange and set in Japan, and I'm not worrying about whitewashing because it's Keanu Reeves. I'll set that aside for now and just watch a good, fun movie with a samurai and some ninjas, and then it all goes off the rails.
Yeah, it goes off the rails
quick.
really quickly.
Yeah.
I can't remember why that falls down so hard because I was really stoked about that movie. I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
It's just story and plotting and the way that the script advances too quickly without really a lot of... There's nothing feels grounded.
No exposition.
Yeah.
No real exposition. It's like, 47 Ronin. Okay.
Yeah, and then it's
cut
over.
to Fox.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
If for whatever reason, it just doesn't it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The first 15 minutes work.
I feel like if they did a very true to this film adaptation of Ninja Scroll, it would kill.
Yeah.
It would absolutely kill.
There's lots of versions of this, though. I mean, Mad Max is kind of a Jubei Kibagami character.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Just give him a sword. Instead, he's got a car and a gun, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for me, man. Anything else?
I'm trying to think. We didn't talk about the character with the explosive ability.
Yeah, she blows up the other bisexual character. I forget her name, but yeah, she blows him up. She blows him
up because he spurns her advances too many times.
Yeah.
Like, she's at the top of the movie being like, hey, look, I know that you're sharing the bed with old boy, but I'm down. What's up? And he's like,
boom.
Do your job. Yeah. Ew.
Yeah, exactly. He basically's like, no.
Ugh.
It's like, don't you know?
Do your job, you're gross.
And see that, and I think that character, the guy with the electric wires that he could electrify, I think he's just gay.
No, yeah,
I didn't get the sense he was straight at all.
I think his character's gay.
Yeah.
I think his character's gay. But no, it's
that's that more that gay deviance thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way, but yeah, you're right. You're right. It kind of paints them in sort of.
I mean, once again, it's fine to have gay villains.
Well, they make them freaks. They're devils. Yes. Like literally, like I think Jubei said something to Genma basically like, if you like the company of devils so much, well, why don't I send you back to hell or something like that? I was like, fuck. That's great, but fuck. But I hadn't thought about it in the context of like
representation.
These actual people. Yeah, representation. Yeah. So yeah, great
cool.
movie.
If you so want the company of devils, you better hurry back to hell, Gemma.
What else did you
was I
into this week?
It's well, I told you Pose. I finally got around to watching the season finale. It's great. It really is great. It's one of these shows where like you can vacillate between being very, very happy and very, very sad from scene to scene. And I was watching it last night. I was being like,
is it over now? Where's it at?
Well, I don't know if it's like done,
right?
But the season finale is over.
Okay,
there may be a third season. I haven't heard anything about it yet. But if they ended it the way if this was the end of the series, it's perfectly okay.
Okay,
it ends on a really a complete note.
Mm-hmm.
It ends on a complete note, is what I will say. It doesn't seem too short. It doesn't seem too long. It seems like they could in theory come back and do another season. But I for one I like how this season ends the same way I liked how the first season ends. But the second season was already on the docket before the first season ever concluded. But I haven't heard any of that news for this one. So I think maybe this might be it.
Yeah.
Especially since they gave Port Billy the Emmy this go around. This might be the.
And this is on FX Now. If you want to watch it,
you should.
It's up there.
You should definitely check it out.
Legion is also on FX Now, which I watched a little bit of. But
you like it?
I do like it.
Okay.
And I was talking with Laurel about it because it's kind of a show that it's visually super impressive and really well made.
Okay.
And you can kind of watch it and then each week and then come back the next week and be like, what happened? Kind of doesn't matter. It all links. Or you could get really into it. It could be your favorite show, or just a show that you think is really beautiful. I feel like
it could be in that vein of what Supernatural was like.
It's way better than Supernatural.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on there. It's up there with Doom Patrol, but you have to invest yourself in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. In the same way that you recommend Pose for me, I'm going to get around to Pose. Mm-hmm. Every time I go to watch Legion, it's right there. I'm just like,
Legion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch it. It's good.
War Machine.
So the Brad Pitt thing.
It's a Brad Pitt movie. It's on Netflix right now. I'm not sure of
I remember
if this is historical fiction or like I don't know if Brad Pitt is playing an actual person because it's billed as a dark comedy, but there are a lot of real world specifics that they use because it's about the Iraq War, sort of the tail end of that.
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. And Brad Obama's a character in the movie. So are like actual U.S. cabinet people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what the movie was supposed to be. I feel like the portrayal. I feel like this would be one of the movies where one would be like, Brad Pitt's not a good actor.
Okay. He's not good in this.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like you should watch it so I could have a better
had a $60 million budget.
Yeah. I don't know where that went to.
The storyline says a general from the U.S. is sent to Afghanistan to clean the situation up after 8 years of war in the country. He finds himself amongst tired soldiers and disillusioned politicians eager to leave. In this situation, he feels his mission is to win, in quotes, the war,
right.
Something deemed impossible by everyone around him.
Right.
And that's his character.
That's his character,
Got it. So you do or do not recommend it?
I recommend it.
Okay.
I do, because it's Brad. And even though I may not think that he's particularly good here, it's not even that I don't think he's good. I think I can see the seams.
It's based off a book. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
In this, like most of the time you see Brad Pitt, you never see the seams of the character that he's created. In this version, in the person that he's playing, I feel like I can see all the seams.
Okay.
I was like, oh, B.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Somebody directed you to do this.
Yeah.
But
let's see. David McCode.
Who?
Let's see. What did David McCode do other than direct Brad Pitt poorly? Animal Kingdom, The Rover, Neverland Dwarf.
Do you know any of those?
No.
Okay.
I know Animal Kingdom. But there was a show. It was a movie and it was a TV show. Catch-22, the miniseries. Yeah. The King, which is coming out in 2019.
I know none
Hesher.
of those. I know.
Hesher. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay.
You know who he is.
Yeah, I know. I've seen. Was not crazy about Hesher when I saw it.
And that's kind of how I feel about this. I wasn't crazy about it. I like Brad. It's shot really well. It's really kind of shot exceptional. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's where the $60 million went. But other than that, I don't.
Right.
I don't really know, because it's billed as a dark comedy, but I found myself, there were very few places where I was really kind of like along for the joke.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I think that's supposed to be the punchline, but based on what I'm watching Brad do, I don't know if I should be laughing.
Yeah. Well, he's not always great at comedy.
And
at playing overtly comedic character. He's good at that kind of subtle comedy.
Right.
Or playing a character that happens to kind of be funny.
Subtly funny, yeah.
Yeah, but
I think this was meant to be darkly humorous.
Yeah.
And it just didn't lend itself to it.
I watched two Deep Space Nine episodes. Because I started and I got out of it.
What season are you in right now?
It's still season 1.
You're still in season 1? You started before me. I started after you, and I'm already on season fucking 5.
We live different lives. So I watched the episode I Am Tusk, The Hunted, where they hunt the guy.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Great one.
Yeah. Because it creates what they do, and it's classic Star Wars, where they give you like a morally dubious position. Mm-hmm. Like, there's this hunt. It's part of their culture. They hunt this guy. They hunt basically a sentient being.
Yeah.
And they have to go against the Prime Directive.
And then Chief O'Brien comes through and saves them off.
I changed the rules. Yeah. That one's good. I also watched Q-less. So Vash comes to Deep Space Nine with the Promethean quartz from the Gamma Quadrant. And it starts to pull the entire Deep Space Nine into the wormhole.
Oh, yes.
And basically she gets rid of Q. And she's like, I don't need you anymore. Right. And Q's like, do you mind if I visit? And she's like, no.
Right.
Yeah, that one's good. Because Vash...
that's another one of the few things that they do to link Next Generation to this first...
Because Vash is hot.
Oh, yeah.
She used to bone Captain Picard.
Oh, yeah, on the regular.
Yeah.
Well, they met on Risa.
Yeah, they met, of course.
They met on Risa. The basically the porn planet.
It's the only thing good that ever came from Risa. It is the porn planet. See, I think we should create a Star Wars series just called Risa. Star Trek Risa. And it's just about sexual deviance.
You write it, I'll star. We'll make millions.
I want to be in it, too.
I think you got to clear that. You got to clear that with the missus.
What else? We do have notes, so I want to notes. Comments.
We got notes.
Ooh, right. We got post-it notes of people leaving on the mics.
All right. I'm gonna go fast because, like, I feel like because we hadn't been together for a while.
Yeah,
like my list kind of rolled over into this week.
It was like 3 extra days.
So there was a song I was into this week.
Okay.
From a guy I wouldn't have thought I'd be into, Post Malone. Wow.
You don't like Post Malone?
No, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that when I look at him, I think that he would smell bad in person.
He would.
I think that I was like, that dude smells
He's in like the Jim Croce kind of like...
Ugh, just less like... Ugh.
He smells like Janis Joplin.
yeah, like earthy and like
Jimi
gross.
Hendrix after a really good show.
Yeah. So I was really into this song of his this week called Wow. Between Two Ferns the movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I was
good.
really into that this week. I must have...
I like Post Malone. He looks like Ruben.
Yeah, he kind of does look
Ruben
like...
Barsky.
He looked like if Ruben just
Ruben got
let
some
himself
face
go
tattoos.
and got a bunch of face tattoos.
Listen to all that Hassan Minaj congressional testimony because he talked about Post Malone.
Does he really?
Because he has this thing where it's like, yeah, if you didn't go to college, it was like the equivalent of getting a face tattoo. Unless you're Post Malone.
All right. I'm just going to pick, because I know we're on the clock, I'm going to pick out some of the big ones.
Yeah.
Titans Season 2. I caught the first few episodes.
Oh, that's out already?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Okay.
Wu-Tang and American Saga.
Did you watch
I watched
it?
a bunch of them. It's good. I liked it from start to finish.
Yeah.
I liked it. over... And I think I get what you were saying about some of the acting in the early beginning, but I think that was based on a lot of it being non-verbal. It was like they were relying on these people to sort of just fill the space.
It's not that. It's because I'm caught up in the most latest episode had one of the best moments and some of the worst acting in it.
Well, then don't talk about it because I'm not caught up.
Yeah, you know what it is though. It's just like that. Like, nah, dog. It's like let's just go out there and fucking.
Where
rep
you can
and
tell
we're
that
gonna...
these are completely really educated dudes.
Yes.
Who are trying to play hood.
I can see your degree all over your face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
I see that like that $100,000 Yale School of Drama degree.
Your level of elocution is too much for who this character
is. But then there's other great moments in there. Like well, I can't tell.
No.
I won't. It's really good.
Leave it alone.
Wu-Tang, American Saga. It's on Hulu. Watch it.
Yeah, Wu-Tang, the American Saga, and American Saga. Please, it's pretty good. Shameless season 9. I sat down and watched all of it.
Yeah,
I love Emmy Rossum. I think she's brilliant and gorgeous.
Felicity Huffman in there in jail?
Felicity Huffman? Why?
Because she's married to what's
Oh, right.
face?
That's right. William H. Macy's wifey. No.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Shameless.
Well, I feel like wow. Boing. I didn't see
her testimony was great too. She's like,
I didn't see it.
She's like, at the time, I thought I really needed to help out my daughter and give her,
everything,
the help she needed.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's like,
have you seen her daughter? Like,
yeah, I know,
oh
right?
God,
dude, she's got your money, Felicity. Chill. She didn't need
so
to get.
Dumb.
She did not need to go to the best
so
college.
damn dumb. And yet they gave that bitch like 2 weeks in like federal, like Cayman Island jail or whatever.
You know what's crazy? I think that was lucky. Not for
That
her,
was
but I
lucky?
think lucky that they even gave her any jail time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ain't that a bitch?
You put Felicity Huffman in any room, no matter what's in there for 2 weeks.
Ain't that a bitch?
I think that's jail to her.
So yeah, Shameless, The Righteous Gemstones, which I like.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like it. It's good.
It's not as good as Vice Principals yet.
I don't know Vice Principals. I didn't see that one, but I like Righteous Gemstones. I like where it kind of subverts your expectations of what the story should be.
Yeah, that's on HBO
because he kills a guy. He fucking kills a guy. Anyway.
Or does he?
Oh, right.
Are you caught up?
Not yet. I know one of them dies. He kills at least one of them.
Maybe.
No, he doesn't. That's right. They all survive. That's right. They all survive, but not. All right. Disenchantment season 2.
I haven't watched it yet. Laurel likes it. I'm not a huge fan of it.
I think I probably know why, because it's one of the first Matt Groening properties that isn't completely random in its episodic nature.
Right.
Like
I like
this follows a through line. Like each episode is linked to the other one, and that has never happened in a Groening kind of thing.
Okay.
Unless it's been like a Who Shot Mr. Burns kind of vibe.
You got one more thing. We got to move to comments.
Last thing was Lord of the Rings 2 and 3.
Yeah, so good.
I sat down and watched those again just because. Yeah. Although
you don't have to give an explanation.
Yeah.
I sat down and watched those. Period.
All right.
Do you like the Hobbit ones?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Yes, because they made The Hobbit into like live action movies, and that book is really good. No, in the fact that they mashed up the Silmarillion and The Hobbit to make 3 movies when they could have told that into one fucking really good movie.
Could've.
So,
I'll take 3 movies though.
Yeah, you don't need. Yeah, fuck you, Peter Jackson, for trying to rape my pockets. That's basically what I'm on. Just a little loving early in the morning. Comment.
Do you want a comment from Sean Calloway or Jonathan Dial first?
Who?
Jonathan Dial. Bo. Sean or Bo?
Oh, wait, his name Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan Bo Dial.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
His name is JB?
Most of the time, I don't even realize it.
You goddamn
I've
right.
never in my life said, "Hey, Jonathan."
Yeah, I don't think I've ever said.
Hey, John.
Know.
Johnny.
I don't like it. It's gross.
John.
Your name is Bo, and shall always be Bo. In fact, you can go by Bo Jonathan. I'll call you BJ like that.
I'll
not
call
calling
you
JB.
Bu before I call you Jonathan. For people in Indiana who didn't know how to pronounce Bo.
What would they call him?
B-E-A-U. Bu. Hey, Bu.
Oh, that's amazing. What do you say?
Bo says, right before the 2017 It movie came out, I began reading all of the Stephen King novels and have just about read them all.
Oh, shit.
So he started. Yeah, okay, that's 2 years. That's pretty good. By far, it is my favorite of his novels. I think part of it was that Larry and I were the loser club It kids growing up.
Oh.
That's pretty true.
Wow.
We had woods, creeks, and sewers that we played in all summer with 0 parent supervision. Also true. There was one sewer by our school that was about 4 feet by 4 feet, and it went straight underneath a sidewalk for about 300 yards and stopped at a sewer gate underneath the road.
Is that true?
Yep. And I know that Larry and I both went under there numerous times, but I stopped for quite a while after watching the It miniseries. It was like this long passageway. And it was
just like the way that...
It would be like you would start at over here on Court Street, and it would run underneath. You could see light over here on Clinton, but it was a whole block long, and you didn't know what was in there. It was enough to kind of like, about as wide as what this desk was, but as a little kid, you could kind of like crawl through it or get on your skateboard and kind of roll, but you don't know what you're going to find in there. I never made it to the end.
No shit.
I knew kids who did make it to the end, and you would look up and kind of like see the outside of the road, but I could only get about like, I don't know, 100 feet or something like that. I'm out, yeah. There were spider webs and shit. There were rats.
No, thank you.
I was super excited about...
Sounds like you couldn't have been a Goonie, bro.
No, I could not have been a Goonie. Not in this... No. I was super excited about watching It Chapter 2 at the drive-in with Lauren last weekend, but she chickened out last minute. She doesn't like horror movies. My wife did... Laurel doesn't like them either since they had kids.
This one is one that you can parse out. Like, it's not... Like, you're going to get all the jump scares. You're going to get all the moments where you're like... Brace yourself for something to jump out at you.
This one's really sad. He said, instead, we saw Angel Has Fallen, which was surprisingly
not
bad.
The Gerard Butler bullshit-ass movie? Oh, my...
Instead of it, imagine wanting to go see It.
And then having to fall back on... Yeah.
And having to go see Gerard Butler.
I'm sorry. That is my sincerest apology, sir.
What was your friend's name? Chris?
Yeah.
Chris, don't get married. Don't do it, Chris.
No, he's got to go with. She's awesome.
He says, I know that Rob has had problems reading comic books, but he really needs to start reading the new X-Men comics, House of X and Powers of X.
He's not wrong. You're not the only one to say that, Bo. My boy Pablo, if you're listening, shout to you. He's been telling me about this reboot of the X-Men universe that it's worth picking up and reading again. As soon as I find a decent a web browser that I can just sit and open and have multiple of them open and read, yes, I will do. I plan to. It's not out of my knowledge right now. Yes.
He says I can't say enough good things about them. They also came out with a new Batman Superman team up series where they fight the Batman that laughs. I saw that at Barnes and Noble's over the weekend. That looks really good.
Yeah.
It's pretty great too. Definitely something Rob should check out.
Yeah, I plan to. Bo, also on the docket. Appreciate you, but thank you for keeping it in my brain.
Miss you, Bo.
Ditto.
Let's move on to Sean Calloway,
put it
resident Game of Thrones scholar. Still enjoying the podcast, dudes. Glad Joachim made another appearance. The Stephen King shared multiverse is massive and mostly stems from his Dark Tower series. This includes It, The Stand, and even his collaborations with Peter Straub.
Wait, is he saying that It, The Stand, and Dark Tower are all connected through a universe?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, the multiverse,
I didn't know that.
What was the Talisman? Was the Peter Straub book that he co-wrote with Stephen King.
Huh.
The creature in It has been likened to the Crimson King from his Dark Tower series. Possibly not the same exact creature, but certainly the same species. Just like the Man in Black and Randall Flagg are the same quote-unquote character, but most likely not the same exact person.
I see.
Man in Black was Dark Tower.
Yeah, I know Dark Tower. Because
and then Randall Flagg is The Stand.
They did, I didn't read those, but they did a movie with your boy Idris and McConaughey.
It's supposed to be really good.
It's not.
Oh, okay. I always found it fascinating how/why Stephen King broke the fourth wall and introduced himself as a character in his Dark Tower series. I wonder if he feels his manifestations of fiction are reflections of his own corruption of age, darker impulses, or just plain need to feel connected to something greater. His something greater being his work.
You know, Sean, I'd be more interested to find out how the fuck they let him write an 11-year-old orgy in that damn book, and ain't nobody say shit.
Yeah,
I'm still on that, dog.
And Bo can attest to this too. There's always like a the guy, The Shining. He's a writer in The Shining. Like there's always like a main novelist. You know what I mean? In one of his books, it's what he knows because it's what he spends all his time doing. So it's easy to write a character from that perspective, and so he puts it in there. But I think that's a good question, Sean. You know, is there something else going on here, or is he just being kind of lazy?
I think there's something else going on here. I'm sorry.
I think that it makes sense, Stephen King. I think that is what makes Stephen King fascinating to me. I'll edit out that. I wonder what darkness lies beneath. Had he not become a writer, a very successful one, what would he have become?
Interesting.
I think that's in the heart of a lot of his stories. I think a lot of these older male dark mean father figures
that he
there's
writes.
like two of them in It. I think he recognizes that in himself.
The potential of that for him.
Yeah. Sean and Bo, if you've not read Stephen King's On Writing, which is his book about writing, which is it's mostly, I mean, it's about writing, yes, but it's also all these little stories about why he became a writer. It goes into a lot of this. And it also talks about his accident where he got hit by a car and like thrown a block and shattered his hip and all these different things.
Oh, wow.
Sean says, I digress. After watching Mindhunter, I think everyone has the capacity for a psychic break.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely
Takes
agree
one
with
bad
that.
day. Falling Down is the perfect movie for that.
You know what I think? I was talking to Tamara Jenkins, who wrote the movie The Savages and another movie that's out right now on Netflix called Separate Lives. Is that what it's called?
That sounds kind
It's got Paul Giamatti and... Anyways, I think there's a really good script somewhere. Not anymore. We're done with like the age of like American Beauty and those kind of male characters who kind of like break or like falling down. I think now it's time for a female character could do that because those stories are always interesting.
Well, I feel like especially now, like a female character would have a little bit more like right and leeway to be like, falling down. Like, yes, we've had these male characters that have done this same kind of trope, but like, whenever you had a female character do it, other than like Grindhouse or like Carrie, you know what I'm saying?
And Carrie, it's like, okay. To end, he says, so thanks for caring, Steven. Later, dudes, hopefully I can pitch you guys some serious monthly ching-a-ling soon. I mean, change, like 4 quarters.
We get what ching-a-ling means, dude. We're not Larry.
Sean, that would be great. Would it be even better if you came and joined us one episode on the show?
Definitely that.
If anybody wants to join on the show and you're in the greater New York area and can make it to us on a suddenly or sporadic deadline, send us an email at whatweinto@gmail.com. I'll coordinate with you. We'll just tell you when we're going to do it. It's usually during the day.
Please.
Rob's usually drinking. Me too.
Who isn't? It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I'm usually not wearing pants.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that, though, because... the smell in here is getting a little too stagnant, especially with no AC in this closed room.
I've just been using your crystals, your underarm crystals that you sell at the Karma app store. So if you have anyone to blame, it's yourself.
Well, maybe you should double up on the periwinkle smell.
I'm Lawrence Dial.
And I'm your boy, Rob Karma Robinson.
Hit us up at whatweinto@gmail.com. Send us a buck at patreon.com/whatweinto. We have a What We Into Facebook page where I post all of the episodes. Eventually, I'll get around to putting some special stuff on there, or not. Who knows?
Get around to it.
They
love us. We're awesome.
They love outtakes.
Hey, thanks for coming out and listening. We appreciate it, and we love you guys.
Always appreciate it. Later, haters.
Oh, God. I'm going to kill you.
You're never going to kill me.
I'm going to fucking murder you. And then push your body around. Like we did their birdies.